Studios original.
Hello and welcome to Webcrawlers, the podcast where we do a deep dive into some of our favorite mysteries. Each week we will introduce our topic, lay out our research and findings, reveal some conspiracy theories, and conclude with our own hypothesis. I'm Allie Siegel.
And I'm Melissa Stetton.
And could the next host be you?
Could it be you?
Melissa, who are our patrons?
We have Ellen, Sienna, Gwen, Jack, Olivia, Mateo, and Amanda.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the team. Just so you know, I put the link up on Patreon with how to schedule. Apparently, there have been some difficulties with scheduling. I will address
time zones, am I right?
Time zones, double
they?
Scheduling, things like that. I will address them all tomorrow. I'm not going to address them. Well, you guys don't know what day today and tomorrow is because of recording
Today's
and posting.
Sunday. It's too hot. It's 107 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's Sunday. It's 107 degrees.
Can't do anything.
I ain't getting back to your emails today, but I'll do it tomorrow. Great. If it's not 107 degrees, I'll do it tomorrow. But I love everyone who's scheduling so far, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
And a lot of you are writing your own episodes, so
That's
I'm
awesome.
very excited. I'm gonna have to look at them first, just to make sure it's not batshit insane.
Like Nazi.
Yeah, yeah. They're not like
stuff.
anti-Semitic or racist or anything, but I am excited. My boyfriend brought that up to me. He's like, "How do you know that they're not going to just be like crazy? You just told people they can have an episode on your podcast." And I was like,
That is
what?
true.
I was like, I didn't
think
promise
our
we'd air
listeners
it.
are all, I don't think we
Yeah.
have any Nazi listeners.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think that they would do that, and I also didn't promise we'd air it. But I trust all of you.
You don't have to air it.
Yeah. Trigger warning for our main episode today.
Oh, yes.
It includes rape, assault, things that are not great. So if
Cannibalism.
cannibalism, it's about Armie Hammer and everything that's going on there. So trigger warning for that. If you are sensitive to those topics, this might be an episode to miss.
Mm-hmm.
But today's episode is, like we said, on Armie Hammer, the new documentary that just dropped, House of Hammer, on our favorite network, favorite streaming service, Discovery Plus.
Did they send you emails?
Oh, yeah.
This week you'll like this. I'm like, how do you know? How do you know exactly what I like?
Yes, but the emails they send me are for shows like This Family Raises Pigs. Do you know what show I'm talking about?
Yes, I've seen that.
Hold on. Pig Family Show
I
on
get like
Discovery
true crime,
Plus.
murder.
Yeah, mine are
90
crazy.
Day Fiance.
Yeah, mine's Pig Royalty. It's the Centaurus family rivalries of Team Bolero and Team Rin make a squealing return. They both raise pigs and then put them up for show, and then they have to see whose pig is best.
For everything.
Yeah, there's a show
It's
for everything.
really, it's incredible.
Anyways,
Golden
they
age
dropped
of
this.
television.
Honestly, it's first there was the 90s and like Rock of Love and all that and Flavor of Love, and we're in another golden age.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's this horrific doc, House of Hammer, that we're going to get into about Armie Hammer and his family. It turns out the Hammer family tree
Crazy.
is insane and notorious. We've had episodes before on these very rich families. Melissa, you did an episode on a crazy rich family, right?
Yeah, the ones that got murdered. Is it a Canadian family that got murdered?
Yeah, there have been a few rich families.
So
and
many.
There is a great quote in this documentary called behind every great fortune is a great crime.
Oh, I miss that.
Yeah,
that's a good quote.
It was a great quote. And then there was a quote from the patriarch of the family too that said, "My golden rule is whoever has the gold makes the rules." And
okay,
it gives a little insight into the mentality of this family. So let's get into the Hammer family tree. A lot of this information is from the documentary. Some of it is from this article by Bustle. There's other articles also from the New York Times, Daily Mail, etc. And we will cite some of those. So the Hammer family is notorious. If you live in Los Angeles, you might know the Hammer Museum. There's a Hammer golf course in Holmby Hills.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's tons of stuff with the name Armie Hammer. What is it? Deodorant or like baking soda or something?
Are they the Armie Hammer people?
He has a stake in the company, or he has stock in the company, or something like that.
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer. Yeah. Their name is everywhere. Yeah, that should be literally don't touch this. So Julius Hammer is where this family kind of originated. He is Armie Hammer's great grandfather. He was a doctor, a Russian immigrant, and a leading Communist Party member in the United States.
Cool.
Yeah, so he, I guess, started.
Red flag.
Yeah, he's started the Communist Party.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is what's crazy.
That's crazy.
Among other things, in 1919, according to this Vanity Fair expose, he was charged with manslaughter after the death of a woman he was performing an abortion on.
I remember reading about that.
Yes, and he went to jail, and then his son Armand had to take up or inherit the family business. And
crazy.
And Armand is Armie's great grandfather. And a lot of the documentary focuses on Armand. Also, Armie Hammer's real name, I guess, is Armand Hammer.
Is Armand, right?
Yeah, but he goes by Armie. So Armand Hammer made most of his money investing in something called Occidental Petroleum.
Yeah, get that oil money.
Yeah, get that oil. So he's an oil tycoon, as we mentioned before. But he also has a lot of other. He has his hands in a lot of pots, fingers in a lot of.
He had his hands and
toes in a lot of shoes.
Toes in a lot of shoes. Had his hand in a lot of. Is it pots?
I don't know. I get
hand in the honey pot is a saying.
No, hold on.
But what does that mean?
He had his in a lot of
feelers.
Oh, okay. To have feelers. To have your fingers in many pots. That's it. Yeah,
okay.
I honestly didn't think that was it. To be involved in many activities or have a lot of.
He wears a lot of hats.
He wears a lot of hats. Yes, he has a lot of fingers, a lot of hats.
In a lot of pots.
So imagine Armand has his finger in tons of pots and wearing a zillion different hats. And that's
Makes
Armand.
sense.
But all these hats and all these pots are very shady. And a lot of them have to do with like government. He's culturally Jewish. He doesn't practice Judaism.
He converted to it, right?
No, he converted to Christianity on his deathbed.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Or so they say.
Yes. So allegedly converted to Christianity on his deathbed so that he could go to heaven.
That's
or
what
something
his
insane.
Son said.
Yeah. But one thing that we'll get into is a lot of it is he like collected art from Russia. And I'm like, is this Holocaust art? Like, is this art that was stolen from Jewish families during the
for sure.
This is a shady guy. So he had 3 different wives. His first wife was this Russian woman named Olga Vadina von Ruth. And he had a son named Julian with her. They got divorced. Then there was another wife named Angela Carey Zevely, and then they got divorced. He claimed that she was an alcoholic, and she claimed that he was insane and abusive, which I tend to believe more based on what we know about him. Third wife is Frances Barrett Tolman. She was a wealthy widow. They got married in 1956. At one point, they divorced and then actually got remarried.
Wow, like a Bennifer.
Yeah. It was a real love story there.
A real Bennifer story.
Yes. So there's so much crazy. I don't even know where to begin. Actually, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this part first because I think it's so crazy. So Armie Hammer had an affair. While he was married, he had an affair with this woman named Martha Kaufman. This is just insight into his personality.
Yeah.
She was this woman who I believe like worked for him or worked for his office. And his wife, Frances, caught wind of this affair and was like, never see this woman again. I don't want you to be like having affairs. It's embarrassing for our image. So instead of stopping seeing this woman, Armie Hammer had this woman, Martha, change her full name legally. So this woman changed her name to Hillary Gibson. He made her dye her hair blonde and
That's
like change
amazing.
her appearance and get a whole new wardrobe. And then he hired her and continued to see her under this like
That's
disguise
pretty
and
cool.
different name. Yeah, it's insane. So then the wife
That's amazing.
the wife assumed he wasn't seeing this Martha Kaufman anymore.
I was like, oh no, that's
He was
just
still
Hillary. She works
Yeah,
at a
that's
different
Hillary.
desk.
Yeah. And he was still seeing her. It was just the same woman that he
She has
had
glasses
forced.
on.
Literally, it's insane.
I wouldn't be
And-
able to tell, by the way. If someone dyed their hair, changed their name, I'd be like, okay, you're a different person. Would have
They're
no idea.
side by side pictures, and they don't. It doesn't. She looks like a different person. I would have
That's
been fooled
amazing.
too. And this is insight into this guy being like, I will get what I want no matter what,
Yeah.
and I will
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to any lengths. And
That's
also the
psychotic.
Yeah, and the power he had over this woman that she was willing to legally
Yeah,
change her
change
name
her name.
and her entire appearance.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
And it goes into kind of the dynamic of what the men in this family are like.
Yeah, they're all
she
nuts.
had a biographer who I guess wrote her story. Martha/Hillary said that Armand put a homing device in her car, would tap her phone so that she always had to be on call so that he had constant knowledge of what she was doing and what she was saying, and that she had to submit to quote unquote extremely humiliating sexual demands.
Crazy.
And that when Armand died, I believe he died in like 1990 or something, that she was completely left out of the will.
Classic men.
Yeah, men, am I right?
It's crazy how that runs in the family.
And you'll see that generationally, I mean, generational trauma is so real. Like these men,
Weird.
their
'Cause
personalities
his dad,
are all
Armie's
the same.
dad, was the same way.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know if they're sociopaths. Like, is that genetic?
It might
don't know.
be. It's gotta be, right?
I mean, I can't diagnose someone. I don't know if this is sociopathy or
I
whatever.
mean, yeah, but like,
Is being a sociopath genetic? That was like the first thing that came up when I said is
I
being.
wonder, because there are a lot of serial killers who have children who don't go on to be serial killers.
Right.
I wonder if it's like just like a weird brain anomaly thing. Because
It
otherwise,
says-
like, it would run in the family, like psychos.
Okay, so it says psychopaths tend to be born. It's likely a genetic predisposition, while sociopaths tend to be made by their environment.
Oh, so he's more sociopath from his environment.
Yeah, but I mean, the environment was kind of the same for all these
Yeah.
men, so it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's weird that I guess the women had a different environment, so
Right.
that
Oh,
maybe
right.
makes sense as to why they had a different form of trauma.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, so Armand was heavily involved in politics, mostly through bribery and donating funds. He said he never ran for politics because he had more power dictating politics through money than he did through actually
crazy.
like being a politician, which
Yeah,
is
that makes
insane.
sense.
Yeah. So again, he was the son of this Julius guy who was the founder of the American Communist Labor Party. And he had significant ties to the Soviet Union throughout his life, and he provided Moscow with a link to Western society. This is what was so crazy. So he identified, I guess, as a Democrat, but he constantly gave money to Republicans. So like that was a little confusing in my
Yeah.
research. So during Watergate, he anonymously gave a lot of money to President Nixon.
What?
Which apparently was used to like try to cover up the scandal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's illegal to secretly give campaign funds. He pleaded guilty, but then President Bush ended up pardoning him.
Fucking Bush.
Yeah, because he too, because he also had faced felony charges for obstructing justice, but Bush pardoned him because he had also contributed to his campaign.
He can just do anything. When you're a politician, you can just when you have money.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just do anything. It's crazy.
And he had all these people in his pocket. And in the documentary, it shows these lavish parties that he would have for like birthdays or holidays or whatever. And it was like Prince Albert and Princess Diana and presidents and, like Russian diplomats and like the president of El Salvador. It's just bizarre. So this is via Vanity Fair, and I quote, "He had a private Boeing 727, palled around with Prince Charles and high-powered politicians. He was a close friend of Senator Al Gore and attended the inaugurations of FDR, Reagan, George W. Bush, among other presidents. He collected expensive artwork and convinced Chinese leaders to lend 2 pandas to Los Angeles for the city's 1984 Olympics."
No, leave those pandas alone.
What? Yeah. So he apparently this guy, Epstein, not related to Jeffrey, wrote a biography on Armand, and he's featured heavily in this Discovery Plus documentary. Yeah. And he says that Armand laundered money. He used stolen artwork to fund Soviet espionage. Yeah. Like, was he like a double agent? That's crazy. He bribed his way into the oil business, and also he knocked off Fabergé eggs.
Oh, you don't do that.
And that is the final straw.
I've heard enough.
And that is where I draw the line.
Fabergé eggs. Wow.
Yeah, it's like so bizarre.
What a weird thing to be like, I'm going to make fake Fabergé eggs.
Yeah. Also, so this guy's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. And just to show what his personality is like, when he divorced this Olga woman who was the mother of his son, Julian, he only paid her $200 a month of child support.
What?
Yes.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. And so he, at a point, Armand wanted to kind of separate himself from his Russian communist ties because at a point, obviously, it was kind of like a bad look. And
sure.
So he tried to hide his son and his son Julian, and that's why he kind of like brushed off Julian and his ex-wife and didn't really pay a lot of money because he was like, this whole Russia thing, I need to kind of keep
ex-wife, son, what are you talking about? I don't have any.
Yeah. Russia? Niet. So Julian is Armie's grandfather. Mm-hmm. And Armand's son, who he kind of, his like disgraced son, who he didn't really want anything to do with. There's this woman in the documentary named Casey, and she's Armie Hammer's aunt.
Right. So her brother is Julian? No, because Julian's the grandfather.
So Julian is her dad, right?
There's a Michael Armand. She's Michael's sister.
Yes, and
Michael's
Julian's son. So if Michael's Julian's son and she's Michael's sister, then Julian is her dad, right?
Yes. Julian had 2 kids. He might have had more, but he for sure had Michael and Casey, and Michael's Armie's dad.
Okay, so Casey says that Julian could never get any attention from Armand unless he was doing really, really crazy stuff.
Right.
Casey also says in the documentary, she alleges that Julian was sexually abusing her, correct?
Oh, right. Yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was, she said that Julian was sexually abusing her
or Michael.
Oh, I thought it was maybe Armand.
Oh, the grandfather. There's too many people. Yeah, no, I couldn't. I was wondering if it was Julian or Armand. It was either the dad or the grandfather.
Yeah, someone in the family was sexually assaulting Casey.
Yes.
So Julian has killed a man. So
yes.
In the morning after Julian's 26th birthday in 1955, he killed a man in his home, allegedly over gambling debt and supposed advances on his wife, Glenna Sue.
Yep.
Now, I have a question about this. Is this, there's part...
Self-defense?
Yeah, this is okay, right? There's so much that happened in the documentary that at a point I couldn't keep track of everything.
It was the second episode was there's so much information. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, so who's confusing. Doing what? And it seemed like at a point they were all at the same mansion, all lived together. So it was a little confusing.
Yeah.
Who was it who took his either girlfriend or wife to the gay bar?
Oh, was that Julian?
Yeah, I was going to say, is that this incident where Julian took Glenna to the gay bar?
I think so.
Yeah, so I think that what they say in the documentary, and this could be incorrect, which is not great for podcasting, but I think that what might have happened is that Julian took Glenna to a bar. And Julian was hitting on all these men. And Glenna was like, what's going on here? And then she realized it was a gay bar. So then Glenna had a man there drive her home. And then when Julian got home, he was upset that Glenna was there with a man. Right. And he shot him or something.
Yeah, he killed... Yeah,
or that could have been another incident. That could have actually been a whole other incident.
I couldn't tell. I know what. Yeah, I heard that too, and it was either. I think it was the same reason he killed this man.
Yeah,
he shot him and killed him.
Right. Anyways, he got off. So
yeah, he got
Armand,
off.
The grandfather who we've talked about, just had delivered $50,000 in cash, claimed self-defense of his son, and the charges were just dismissed.
Crazy. His dad was like, here's 50 grand to get my son off.
And they're like, okay. Because everyone was in his pocket. Insane. Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break for announcements. Webcrawlers has a Patreon to get access to bonus episodes, shout outs, maybe a Labor Day discount. Maybe we can do something like that. Please go to
Labor Day's tomorrow.
It's been too hot. Everyone's brains are melted. Please go to patreon.com/webcrawlers. You can literally donate as little as $2 a month to become a patron. And it helps with Melissa's maternity leave to feed her child.
I need to feed my child.
To feed her child and buy it diapers. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star review, we will shout you out. And Erios has a hotline, but you know that already. Please continue to call us and we will... Am I okay? And we will play your episodes on our mailbag episodes. We will play your voicemail on our mailbag episodes. Turns out I'm not okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Back to our program. So then Julian has a son. Well, he has a son and a daughter. We talked about Casey. Mm-hmm. And Casey has an audiobook that I guess was revealed on TikTok, and that's where a lot of all this came out.
Yeah, she wrote about her whole family and all the
and
dark
how crazy
shit.
It was.
She's estranged from her family.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, I'll get into Casey before I get into Michael. So Casey says that growing up, she wasn't allowed to see her dad, I guess, for a while because her dad and mom got divorced. And she lived with her mom, and she wasn't able to see her dad until she, I think, was a teenager. And then she would visit her dad in this mansion that he lived at, I believe, in the Palisades. And she said that every time she would go there would be quote unquote housekeepers. And the housekeepers were 16, 17-year-old women.
Yeah.
Who were kept around the house who were very clearly his girlfriends or like sexual
creepy
objects, but he called them housekeepers. She said that there was a bowl of cocaine that was always readily available for people to use when they came into the house. Yeah. That there were constantly parties that were basically like orgies. And she said that one time she came down in the morning from one of the parties and she saw that everyone was kind of passed out. And then she saw a pile of Polaroids and she picked up one of the Polaroids and she thought it was one of the housekeepers, one of the maids, like licking an ice cream cone, is what she says in the verbatim in the documentary. And then she's like, her young self is like, why is this ice cream cone connected to a man? And then she realized like it's a Polaroid of this quote unquote maid, this young girl giving oral sex to a guy at the party. And then she sees that, I can't remember if it was her dad or if it was Armand, is like sitting on a chair in the background watching. So
it's
creepy stuff. Like in this house, there's like sex parties and cocaine and young girls, and it's just a weird environment. And like almost every man in the family has like killed someone, and like it's just
crazy.
Insane environment, and they're all predatory on these young women, and they're married but have mistresses. It's just a gross environment. Anyway, so there's Casey, but then there's also Michael, who ends up being Armie Hammer's father.
Yeah.
Michael's very much the same as all the other men in his family, and he met his wife in a very romantic manner. He apparently got blackout on a plane and she was like sitting next to him or something, and then they ended up getting married.
Pretty cool. Who among us have not
blacked out on a plane and then met your soulmate? But she was like super wholesome, I guess, and Christian and religious, and came from a wealthy family. So everyone was like, don't fuck it up. Like, this will be good for our image. We need to purify our image. Don't fuck it up, Michael. And of course, he cheated on her apparently the whole time. But they ended up getting married and they had Armie. And they're still together to this day, I believe, from what I know.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's like cheated on her a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be a glowing, a glowing relationship. No. So they moved to the Cayman Islands when Armie is young, which is weird.
Well, I think they had a lot of money invested in some bank accounts there.
Yeah, I was going to say Cayman Islands equals offshore bank account, right? Yeah. You don't just move there for no reason.
Yeah.
And eventually they move back to the States, and Armie wants to be an actor, and he rises to fame, this and that. And then all this shit comes out. This is, I mean, bad stuff is already, we've already said bad stuff, but this is where the real, trigger warning, this is where it starts getting bad. The internet, God, when did this even happen?
It was last
year or two ago?
It was 2021.
Yeah. These texts get revealed, and then all of a sudden all these other people all these other women start coming forward that they've had like non-fully consensual, like predatory, traumatic relationships with Armie Hammer. And
who's married and has kids.
Oh yeah, who is married with kids at the time, which he presented under the guise of like kinky BDSM relationships, but the women were not fully informed. Like, consent was not provided, like safe words, they weren't respected, like boundaries weren't respected.
He didn't communicate very well to them.
Yeah, not a good communicator, this Armie Hammer guy.
No.
Etc. So we've all seen the text and the cannibalism stuff. Like, if you don't know, he did not actually commit cannibalism.
That we know of.
But he said, like, cannibalistic fetish stuff. He said, I am 100% a cannibal. Fuck, that's scary to admit. These are the text allegedly verbatim. I've never admitted that before. I've cut the heart out of a living animal before and eaten it while it's still warm.
I mean, I believe that.
Yeah, he said, I want to see your brain, your blood, your organs, every part of you. I would definitely bite it 100% or try to fuck it. Not sure which, probably both.
Look, everyone's into weird stuff.
Yeah, and I want to preface, like, because I think it took a while for the documentary to get into it. We're like, BDSM is not harmful, or BDSM is not bad. Like, kink is not bad. Like, having a rope fetish or anything like that is not bad. Role play is not inherently negative. Yeah, it's if you don't have that constant consent and you're not on the same page, where it can get harmful. And it seems like he constantly pushed boundaries with women who were not knowledgeable and did not know what they're getting into.
It, if you're not like, if you've never done it before, or like you don't really know what it entails, and you like feel uncomfortable, you don't know how to like get yourself out of it, like that's a problem. But that's on Armie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is definitely like all on Armie. Yeah. So you can read the text online. It's not even like we don't even have to get into it. But it's crazy, like the stuff that he did, the stuff he physically did. Because I mean, a lot of it we heard was the text messages, and I was like, okay, like so he did.
There's
weird
that
text.
one girl, Julia, who never actually met up with him and had sex with him. It was just a text,
the weird
thing.
text. Yes.
And that's where I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. But then it gets into like this girl, Paige Lawrence, who he carved into her. Yeah. He branded her without her consent.
Yeah.
She was restrained, I guess.
Yikes.
And he said, where should I carve into you? And then he just started carving into her. Branded her, and they never were like, we're gonna do branding right now or something like that, you know.
Who was he?
Nexium.
What's his face? Nexium.
Yeah. Keith Raniere.
Keith
Raniere.
There,
by the way, you sent it to me. Isn't there another
oh yeah, The Vow Part 2.
Yeah.
Is coming out.
Such a vow head.
Big vow head.
Now this I did not know before I watched the documentary, and I found it this morning. It's really horrible. The woman from House of Effie, I guess did not consent, did not say that she wanted to be in the documentary.
That's fucked up, because they used a video of her.
They used a video of her testimony in the documentary, and her lawyer, Gloria Allred, also spoke on her behalf, even though she did not want to be in the documentary. She said no.
That's weird. Why would you do that?
Yeah, and she says, like, I feel like this documentary is doing the same as Armie did to me. Like, it's crossing my boundaries and not listening to me when I say no. So that is interesting too. And the same thing I think happened with the Pamela Anderson TV show, where she was like, I don't want this. Like, you're making it, but I don't want it. So it's interesting to think about, like, we think we're doing justice for women or something, but sometimes, like, they don't. Yeah, they just want to be left out of it.
Nothing to do with this.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times, like, women don't come forward. It's like they don't want the notoriety. But that being said, she did post all that shit on her Instagram. But she did not.
She did post about. She is the one who kind of like broke the story.
Yeah, but I guess like she's done with it. Like she didn't want this documentary.
I get it.
So, Armie now, there was a rumor. Yeah. So apparently he's like went to rehab or something, like is sober, treating himself, whatever. A rumor went around on Twitter a while ago, like some mom or something was traveling and sent a text to her kid being like, is this Armie Hammer? Like, I think he just tried to sell me a timeshare in the Cayman Islands.
He was wearing like a shirt from like a resort, like he was working in an office.
Yeah. And I believe it was rebutted. Like, I think like his PR or the hotel was like, no, he's not working here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They tried to say it was fake, that it wasn't
he
true.
A name tag?
But then I found this picture and it's him.
Yeah. No, it's for sure him.
Yeah, it's him working at this hotel selling. I mean, it's 100% him.
I mean, is it a hotel that his parents own? I'm like, is he just working because he needs something to do because he's like going crazy?
Well, Moritz Resort in Grand Cayman. It says Hammer has said the brochure is fake. Maybe the brochure is fake, but this picture of him working isn't. He's said before in the past that like his family doesn't give him money and he's totally self-supporting. So it's possible that he doesn't. Possible. Yeah, like he doesn't have his family's millions maybe, and like if he's not able to book jobs now, he has to get obviously a real job.
Yeah, because I mean, he was in what, The Social Network was like the big thing, and then Call Me by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name. I think he's had other bit parts, but I can't really think of
what else has he been in? I don't know.
Even know.
A lot of shit. Death on the Nile.
Yeah, which I mean, like that was even like after all the shit came out. I love they like are really heavy about mentioning The Social Network on this documentary. Like they're like Armie Hammer from The Social Network, and I'm like,
from The Social Network.
Was that big a movie? I guess
that was his first big.
Yeah, he played the Winklevoss twins.
Also, I love how they had this guy in the documentary named Ryan who was in an acting class with him. Like he had this like deep
that was
insight
so mortifying
into Armie. Like you were in an acting class with him, dude. Like
it was definitely like the year 2001. They took one acting class together in West Hollywood, and this guy's big break is being in the Armie Hammer documentary.
Crazy. Like,
it's mortifying.
Anyone else?
I know. I was so embarrassed for that guy, and he was so excited to be in this documentary.
I know, that poor guy.
That's this family is crazy. I mean, I hope that all these women who were involved with him get the healing that they need. I hope Armie gets the healing that he needs so that he doesn't do this to anyone else ever again.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen.
And so that his kids have a good father, you know, like that's sad. Yeah, it's sad for his children to have to deal with all this too. I mean, I hope it's mended so that legacy doesn't just continue. Yeah. We'll donate some money to Rain for this episode. Yes. I just wanted to look at like some other weird celebrity stuff that I didn't, because there's just like crazy celeb fans.
20 actors with insane family secrets.
No, that is that. I think that is the article I wanted. There was one. Wow. Oh yeah, so a few of them. Woody Harrelson's dad was a hitman or something.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it says his actor's father was actually paid to eliminate people.
Whoa.
His dad passed away in prison at the age of 67 in 2009.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's dad was a white supremacist. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, his father was a vehement white supremacist. Spacey's father, Thomas Jeffrey Fowler, was reportedly vocal about these terrible views to his family and community.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, so there's a
problematic family, that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff. I mean,
Woody Allen, yes, we know.
Yeah, I'm like, some of this is a little obvious. It's like we know.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. So anyways, a horrible story. If you have any insight into this or just know of other rich families who are up to no good, Melissa, where can people reach us?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com.
All right. Well, I am Allie Siegel.
I am Melissa Stettin.
And stay safe out there.
Goodbye.
Original.
Powered by Acast.